Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry for the wiggling camera, but I wanted to get it centered up for you and a little tiny bit of zoom so you can see what I'm doing. And let me get over here on the left and make sure we're transmitilating out into the world. All right, it's looking good. I see my arm moving. That's always a very good sign indeed. All right, so here is the card that I gave you the sneak peek of this morning. How many of you figured out this was what we were going to be playing with today? Hey Marva, hi Rosie, appreciate you guys coming. I hope you've had a good first day of your 3-day, what I assume is a 3-day weekend for most people. I know I can't mail anything until Tuesday, so you know, there's that. Hey Lorraine, hi Mary Catherine, hi Myra, appreciate you guys coming. So this is our card. It is a Christmas card that obviously, right? And it uses the beautiful new A Child is Born set. And it's got images and also some really pretty sentiments with, I like how when they kind of mix and match the fonts within the sentiments. I think that's really pretty. Hey Melissa, I appreciate you coming. Hi Pam and Nancy and Carol and Marilyn, everybody, I appreciate you. Her Faith. This card, my friend, is for you. So I hope you like it, and I hope I've done what you've asked for. So it's got some embossing. You can see, I think I mentioned a while back, maybe when I did my reveal video, that I thought this paper from the new Modern Christmas Specialty DSP was going to be perfect for this stamp set, and I think I was right. So I've got that, I've got the stamp set, I have the label dies, these beautiful nesting label dies from the new Branching Out die set, and of course some stylish shapes. Stylish shapes you can get right now. Branching Out, a Modern Christmas DSP, and A Child is Born, you'll be able to get on the 3rd, which is like, what, Wednesday? So it's coming up quick. So here's the front, all black and gold, and then on the inside I did a little bit more gold embossing, and I used For Unto Us a Child is Born. Now there's actually several sentiments I could have picked from, so you can really mix and match. Yay, I'm glad you did guess. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. It's all on my blog for tomorrow, so you really shouldn't even need to take notes. And I hope you will enjoy it. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start with my basic black card base, and I am going to adhere a piece of the Modern Christmas DSP. I don't know if you know this paper, but this is what it looks like on the other side, which is also cool. I'm going to have to use some of that. And then it's all black and white and gold. So it's kind of pretty. It's not what I would consider a traditional paper for Christmas, but it is pretty. This says Fa La 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 on it. And all of the pieces have gold foil something on one side and then just black and white on the other. This is all ornaments. Now there are dies in the, oh gosh, what is it called? I can't remember the name of the stamp set that goes with this. I'll figure it out here in a minute and probably be able to tell you. But there are dies in there that I believe will cut out those ornaments. I do love that piece as well. And then of course you've got the polka dots. So this is pretty. If you like kind of a modern aesthetic for your Christmas cards, then this is a really good one. You want them to have faces. Faces. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, yeah, that's valid. Everybody wants a little different, but I think it's pretty as it is. Now let me just tell you a little something about this paper right here. It has a very definite up and down, and I have cut more than my share of the wrong way. So pay attention so that you know whether you're making a portrait or, you know, if you're doing a portrait or a landscape, and get the stars going up and down, okay? And we're going to go ahead and adhere this with some liquid glue. And put this on our basic black card base. And you're going to kind of want to hang on to it until you make sure everything is lined up. The nice thing about putting it on the same size card base, or the same color card base as the predominance of the background, is it tends to be pretty forgiving. Okay? The other thing that you can do is cut just a little bit shy of 5.5. You can see I needed to be a little bit shyer, but I am going to take that. I think it is going to be close enough to be good. Okay, so we can close that down and give it a little rub with my bone folder that has apparently has kind of gone walkabout. Oh no, there it is. I was looking right at it. I'm glad it wasn't a snake. I would have probably had a stroke. All right, so there we go. Okie dokie. Now, I did a little bit of cutting ahead of time, just a little bit. The first thing that I cut is I used the largest of the dies in branching out to cut out a basic gold foil mat. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the card front with liquid glue. You could use Stampin' Seal here as well. We're going to do a little bit different. Usually I mat with liquid glue and then I adhere the whole thing to the card front with dimensionals, but this time I am going to put the art panel on with dimensionals. So we're just going to center that up, make it as straight as my highly calibrated eyeball can get, and then we are ready to start doing a little bitty bit of embossing. Okay, so I'll set that aside. I have a piece of basic black here. Now, when you are embossing, it's very important that you get as much static off as you can. And so I kind of like to see the white on my cardstock because I can brush it off and it tells me that I have a better shot of getting a good image and not having a bunch of stray embossing powder all over the place. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp my my nativity. We'll just ink that up real good with Versamark ink. And I'm going to put it right in the center. Give it a good push. Don't wiggle it or you'll get blurry lines. Nobody loves blurry lines. Stray embossing powder. Yeah, it is the thing. Okay, so it looks like I've got a good image on there, so I'll go ahead and sprinkle it with my gold metallic. This is from the Metallics Wow embossing. And you get gold, silver, and copper in the pack. All right, now that looks like a pretty good image, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my little brush to make sure I get the things that I can see. Now anything outside about right here is going to be off of the die cut, but also I have embossing powder everywhere. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss this with the heat tool. So it'll be a little bit loud for a second, I think. Now I gotta ask you, can you guys hear the embossing tool really, or what? Yes, the large bottle of embossing of liquid glue is from Amazon or Hobby Lobby or somewhere like that. It was a gift and it's really been wonderful because it's really lasted a long time. Okay. You can see the embossing powder starting to change. So at this point, I'll just move my heat tool around until it all gets shiny. I think this is beautiful. Oh, I got a little bit, well, that'll be all right. I couldn't see it, so. Okay. Now I can tell you, once you've embossed it, it's darn hard to get it off of there, but I'm going to see what I can do with my tweezers. Okay, so it's not too loud. That's good. I'm just going to see if I can get that to come up just a little bit right there. And if I can't, I can't. It is what it is. Just kind of gently rubbing it with that. Because as you might imagine, I got exactly what I wanted the first time around when I did it, you know, off camera, but of course I'm going to have extras here. I don't know if I can stand it, you guys. In fact, I'm about sure I can't. So let me grab me another piece of basic black. Okay, hang on just a minute. Be hanging on. I'm sure I have another piece right here, close by. I just have to be sure it's a big enough piece that my, yeah, okay. Oh, Hang on just a minute. Here we go. We're going to try that again. If it doesn't get perfect this time, we're just going to go on with it, okay? Because I don't want you to be here all night while I'm trying to get the perfect image on the card. It'll be okay. Now, what did Rosie say? Something Rosie said. It's homemade, not Hallmark. I know. That's why if this one isn't great, I'm going to go on with it. But I just, you know, I did the same yesterday when I made the sample. I had a bad sheep. And you'll know what I mean here in just a minute. Okay. So we'll get him on there like that. And then we'll try one more time. Joseph just sneezed. Oh, well, that... I think he might have probably sneezed glitter. I don't know. That looks like it's going to be better. Of course, I said that about the first one, didn't I? Gosh. It's probably a mistake to have my fan on, but I'm too hot to not. So we're going to risk it. All right, I don't see anything problematic here. Get right in there where I had it last time. Okay, now let's try that again. One more time. This time, a little bit louder, a little bit worse. All right. Yes, he's clean around. We've cleaned up his face. He's fine. He didn't sneeze this time, so it's good. Okay, so now we're going to let it cool just a second. And then I'm going to add my stars. Now, when you get ready to stamp your stars, you want to do a little tiny fit check with your die. And the die we're using for this is the next to largest in branching out, so it'll mat perfectly on the gold foil. And it's very, very tight, okay? So you can see it's barely gonna cover it side to side. And then it's pretty close at the bottom, but it's just about right, okay? So where I wanna stamp my stars is right in there, all right? So just barely above, right in that kind of crook there, okay? So we'll do a little more embossing powder. I'm gonna turn this for a second. We'll get our gold ready to roll. And let's see, there's two star images. One of them has the large Bethlehem star, and then the other one is just some regular ones. So I'm using the large one here. And I'm going to make him straight because I think the star wants to be straight, don't you? Yeah, I think right there will be fine. Okay, and then I'll put some embossing powder on there. And then close this up. That can work too, and it's good to let the image sit on your cardstock for a second or two, an extra beat, okay, to be sure that that Versamark is transferring. Now let's go do a little check here. That looks good, and I'm going to go ahead and emboss that. Okay, now, just remember, before you do something crazy like take it and run it through the cutting machine, you need to let it cool, because that embossing powder, excuse me, that embossing powder will smear if you don't let it get cooled off, okay? And if you can see some white, you can just kind of brush it off. As you use this and get it going, as you use this and get it going, sorry, I saw a part that wasn't quite as embossed, quite as set as I wanted it to be. There we go. All right. If you do have some extra white, you can just get it across like that. Okay, so I'm going to go off screen here for just a moment, and I'm going to cut it just like this. Okay, so it's going to barely encompass the image, just like that right there. Okay, so I'll be right back. Are y'all singing the Jeopardy tune in your head while I do this? I hope. Okay, here we go. Okay. And then I'll put this back on the magnet. And then this is going to be adhered with black Stampin' Dimensionals 2 or matte. And I have said in the past that I do not care for small dimensionals, but when you buy the blacks, you get all these sheets. You get a sheet of the smalls and a sheet of the larges. And so if you just only use the larges, eventually you got a bunch of sheets of smalls. So I thought, okay, just suck it up, Buttercup, and use the smalls so that you can get control of your dimensional drawer. I have a dimensional drawer. It's actually got all the adhesives in it, but it's got a lot of dimensionals, so I figured I better start getting rid of some of these. Alrighty, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I have often, so you like that Versamark marker? I've often thought that would be a good thing to have in the arsenal, but I've never known anybody who had one, so it's good to know that you like it. Okay, so I've got the dimensionals and I'm just centering this on its mat. Okay, so there's the card front to almost, I mean, not quite, we're not quite done. Okay, we're not even sort of done. Okay, before you showed up, I stamped and embossed the 3 larger images. So we have a sheep and a baby lamb, and then I have the manger. So you can see that there's no dies for this, which means it's a fussy cut. So I thought I would do those ahead of time so you wouldn't have to watch me fussy cut all of them. When you're doing this, one of the advantages to embossing on the same color as your card is it makes it much more forgiving. So you can follow the outline. Cutting embossing is pretty nice because it's got a really defined edge. Okay, and just remember your basics about fussy cutting. Keep the cardstock up against the fulcrum of your scissors and turn the paper, not the scissors. And I confess, I didn't get too head up here, like I did not cut out every single blade of straw because that would have been crazy. And the fact that it's black, it really disappears against the background on the card front. So you're good to go. All right, I'm just going to cut that off so I don't have to play with it. And then we'll finish up here. Now, I don't know if these things are getting smaller, or if my eyeballs are getting weirder, or my arms are getting shorter, but I feel like there's going to come a time when I'm going to need like a magnifying glass to do fussy cutting, and then I'm going to be bummed, because that's just going to be another thing that I need to try to find a spot for. Any of you already having to do that? That would be a very annoying thing, I can imagine. But if you are doing that, good on you. Fussy cutting is one of those skills I enjoy because it means it opens up all the images. Now, let me rephrase. It opens up about 85% of the images. There are some things that I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not cutting that out. It can be on a die cut, like on a circle or a square or a rectangle. I'm not fussy cutting it. But we have so many fun images in DSP that don't all have coordinating dies that it's nice to be able to fussy cut them out. Okay, so here we go. Now we can put these little guys down on the bottom. We're going to start with the manger, El Mangero. I just made that up. I'm pretty certain that's not how you say it in any language, ever, anywhere. We'll start with some dimensionals of the black variety. And I'll go ahead and stick one on that back leg. The nice thing about the black ones is that they kind of disappear as well. So if you kind of inadvertently get one sticking out, you'll be okay. All right. I know, it's hard. And I truly firmly believe that the food manufacturers are in cahoots with the glasses makers, and they're making the label smaller so that we think our eyes are worse than they really are. I mean, I'm not saying they're not needing glasses, but maybe not quite as quick. Okay, so we're going to put the manger here as one would. And then I'm going to put Mr. Lamb Chop here, right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dimensional on the card front, like that. And I can pick it up, and I can put a little dabby dabble. How long have I been Stampin' Up? I joined at the end of 2014, so this year will be 11 years. Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit of liquid glue, right there. You don't need much. And then I want him in front of that leg, and I don't want there to be a gap right there, like that, okay? Why? I don't know. It just bugs me when there is one like that. All right, so there we go. And then Mr. Sheepman, I don't know, it could be a she sheep, I don't know. I'm gonna put her right there. So I'll go ahead and put a couple of dimensionals right on her, because that's not gonna interfere if I've got them up by her head. Thank you, Linda. I thought it came out pretty. I was happy with it. All right, so let's see how that's doing. Okay, I'm gonna put one more dimension. I'm gonna put one dimensional on the card front right there, like right there. Okay, and that ought to get it. I don't think I need any liquid glue here. And then I am gonna put one under his little hiney right there. His little hiney leg. Just like that to support it. And I may put one, yeah, I'm gonna put one right there. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you like it. All right, so everybody get ready to hold your breath, because I'm going to do the most technically complex part of this card next, okay? And that is, I'm going to emboss on gold foil, and then I'm going to use my stylish shapes dies and modify the size of my sentiment. Okay, so woosah, we can do this. We can do this. All right, so I'm going to use my embossing buddy. And let's see, where's Oh Holy Night? Oh Holy Night, where are you? Now, when you emboss on foil, you want to be really careful, because it's slippery, okay? And it'll move around a lot, and it'll weird up your sentiment. If you really don't want to try this, or if you try it and you just can't get it, put it in gold on white. I would put it on white. I don't think I'd put it on black. I think you got plenty of gold on black. But I think you can do this. Okay, so we're just going to stick it straight down and not wiggle it. Hold it and pick it up. And then you can see the Versamark. Okay, so you can see it's a good image. So far so good. And we'll sprinkle some black on there. And then before I blow on it, I'm going to close my... I don't need a stamp positioner, because the part that's difficult is making sure it doesn't wiggle when it goes down. That's the part that you have to be careful of. But it looks like it's good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it and heat emboss it. Thanks, Marva. Yep. I think I embossed on another foil on another card at some point. Maybe that was on vellum. I'm not sure. We haven't had vellum for a while though, so maybe not. Or maybe I did it on vellum and then I realized you can't get any vellum and then I felt bad. I don't know. Okay. So we'll close up our Versamark. Make sure it gets good and cool. Good and cool. Oh, thank you, Jane. I'm so glad. I think I was a teacher in another life, maybe. I don't know. I like teaching. Okay, that should be good. Now, let's talk about what we're going to do here. This die is a little bit too long. This die is a little bit too fat. So, I decided what I was going to do was do an adjustment. So here I'm going to cut this first, and then I'll show you how we're going to cut it down. Okay, so hang on. I'm going to go off screen and make this first cut. Okay. So now I have a label that's too long and weird because I put it on deliberately like this. What you want to do here is you're going to line this up and you're going to kind of lock the little stitch marks into the stitch mark makers, the little bumpy bumps on the back. And then I'm going to just run through right down to here. Okay, so we'll put it on our doohickey and you can kind of hold it down like that. And we'll see what we get, shall we? Let's see what we get, shall we? I'm going to have to put a top on it. All right. Okay. So when you do that and pull it apart, you get a shorter, custom-sized label. Okay? So I hope you saw how to do that. That means you can kind of, you can get a little bit of adjustment on some of your label dies. All right? So that's a thing you learned today on top of, oh, by the way, you can emboss foil. All right, so this guy is going to go right there. And I'm going to put him on dimensionals. Why? Because I love dimensionals, and I can. Assuming I can locate my dimensionals. Oh, there they are. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're going to put dimensionals just on the left end. And we'll add a little snowflake. And our card will be done. And then we can do our innards and our envelope. Okay, so here we go. Oops. Try to get it as straight as I can, like that. There we go. Now, if you want to support it down here, you're going to need a double stack because that's up double now. So we'll double stack and stick it right there like that. Okay, now another new thing that is coming, these are online exclusives and they're available on the 3rd of September, just like the catalog items. These are faceted snowflakes. You get cherry cobbler, pretty peacock, and clear. And I'm going to take one of the large clears, and they call them snowflakes, but for the instance of this card, this is going to be a star middle. And there is our card front. All right. Now, on the inside, I just have a piece of basic white cardstock. And I am going to stamp my second sentiment. Yes, Mary does buy them by the case lot. It is true. All right, let's see. Where's my second sentiment? Where are you? Oh, you're right here. Okay. And I'm going to stamp him in Tuxedo Black, Memento ink. Okay. And since I'm going to emboss next to him, I really want him to be dry. So while we wait for that to be really dry, I'm going to go ahead and do my embossing on my envelope flap, or on my envelope, and then we'll get the envelope all done. Now for this one, I'm using this smaller stars image. Now whether this will make it through the mail without it having been scraped off, I don't know, but it's going to start pretty, so that matters, doesn't it? That matters somehow. Okay, I can see my embossing. Thanks, Barbara. Oof. I got a lot of extra on there. All right, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of fixing. See, that's all extra, and even my tiniest brush is too big. Okay, I can live with that. At least on the envelope I can. I'll have to be a little more careful on the inside vinyl. Okay, and then while that cools, we'll go ahead and put our DSP on here. Liquid glue, liquid glue, where are you? Where are you? There we go. All right, here we go. And again, there is an up, there is a down. So cut accordingly. Remember, orient once, orient twice, cut once, right? Yes, I hope you'll come back on Thursday. I don't know what we're going to make. That's so far away. This is Saturday, right? Yep. So come back on Thursday, and we'll see what we're going to make. All right, so there's the envelope. Now, I believe this is dry. Yep. Give it a little bitty brush. And I think what I'll do is clean this. I might have had a little extra somewhere. Okay. All right, now everybody hold your breath. That I don't get a big old blob. I don't want a big old blob. Nobody wants a blob star. A blob star could be like a supernova, and it could be gonna take out our whole electrical grid. So we don't want that. Let's not have that. Let's not have that. Yeah, no, Faith, this is not a 50. This is not a 50 card. This is 3 or 4 of them to give to people who really deserve a special card at Christmas. Not to say that everybody doesn't deserve a special card at Christmas, but you know what I mean. There's cards and there's cards. All right, I'm going to put my lid on here before I have an accidente. Oh, thank you, Jean. I appreciate that. One more time with the loud people. There we go. And let it cool off for a second. I can see a little white there, so I'm just going to give that a little brush. And put this on the inside of the card, and we'll be done ski. Since our envelope, did I finish the envelope? Yeah, I did. I remember it. I cut it off, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm losing my brain. just to be sure. Just checking. And you might want to turn it over and give it a push because the cardstock is just a little tiny bit warped with the embossing. So if you do that, it'll help get it down. And there you go. All right, guys. So there's our card. I have 2 of them. So I'm very happy to have 2 of these pretty cards. And who knows, one of you may get one of these days. You just don't know. I appreciate y'all spending part of your weekend with me. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend. Please be safe. People just think this is the day to go out and drink and have a great time and then drive home. Please don't do that. And if you do go out, be careful. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Have a great rest of your weekend, y'all. Thanks. Ta.